Hey guys, it's JP, and this time we are going to talk about pain or discomfort around the proximal hamstring tendon and what exercises you can try for that region. Now, if you have been following this tendon series, we have looked at tendons around the Achilles, then the knee, and now we are taking a look at the hamstrings. But first, let's go over how the hamstrings themselves work as you run. The hamstrings play some pretty important roles as you run. One is that they aid in force production as the foot leaves the ground. And two, they help decelerate the leg from swinging too far forward prior to landing. Now, while the muscle itself is important, you can't forget about the tendons that attach the muscle to the bone, specifically the proximal hamstring tendon. If this region is put under loads or work that exceeds its ability to adapt and recover, this can be a site of irritation. In running, this is mostly seen in middle to long distance runners. To better prepare for the demands of running, it may be important to build and strengthen the proximal hamstring tendon, as it is subject to tremendous forces as forces are transferred through the hamstring and the hip or pelvis region. To do this, you typically need to work the region hard. However, initially the tendon may not be able to tolerate that kind of work due to pain or irritability. Therefore, you can try some exercises to initially work the region to build tolerance to loading and decrease irritability, so you can start to build strength in the tendon and run with less pain. Now that we covered that, let's go over some exercises you can try to build tolerance to loading in the proximal hamstring tendon. The first exercise I will show you guys is the long lever bridge. This is a simple way to load the area initially. This variation of the bridge loads primarily the hamstrings instead of the glutes, which is the point. I like to use this kind of positioning initially, as this does not subject the proximal hamstring tendon to too much compression and shear, which may irritate the tendon. Overall, when loading tendons that are irritable, I try to load up the region with slow or stationary holds with a position that avoids both compression and shear, just like the one shown here. Now, when doing this kind of exercise, I typically have people do 3 sets and work up to having the person try to hold the position for 30 seconds each time. Now, as you build tolerance to loading in that region, you can try the elevated hamstring march. This is a progression of the previous exercise. This is a great transition, as this involves temporary periods of loading through one leg instead of 2. You can start by doing small marches, and as you feel comfortable, you can increase the knee bend and duration you are on the one leg. Now, if you want to challenge the region even more, you can try the single leg long lever bridge. This loads the hamstrings and tendon even more, as now you are only relying on one leg to do the work. And those are some exercises you can try. Remember that this is for educational purposes only. If you have persistent pain in the region, you should consult a healthcare professional for a proper assessment. Next week, I will talk about the next phase, which is more focused on building strength and stiffness in the proximal hamstring tendon. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, as well as any questions you may have. And as always, thank you for watching.